Hey, yo, it's me, Pops Van Marmalade, and you're watching the Comics-Related Madness Network. Huh? So come get some. CromCon. CromCon.
Your favorite podcast, it's Critical Blast.
Hi, this is Tim TK, host of That Silverline Show on Tuesday. Join us at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Tuesday night as we discuss pop culture and the joys of making comics.
And I'm Scott Wakefield, host of Silverline's Wednesday Wham, where we talk about comic books and all kinds of great storytelling, sometimes with incredible guests. And we want you to join us Wednesday nights from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you there.
I'm Roland Mann, and I host Silverline's Silver Sunday. Join me every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern as we make mine Silverline. Anyway, welcome everyone to Silver Sunday. This Sunday, the August the 29th. And it's Winging It, and we're going to be winging it in more ways than one. That's the title of tonight's stream. Yes. Okay, so welcome everybody to this episode called Winging It. I'm Roland Mann. I'm the host. I'm the chief cook and bottle washer. Curtis, you're at the top of my list now that it's vertical. Why don't you introduce yourself, tell folks who you are.
Sure. Hi, I'm Curtis Fujita. I'm the creative director at Silverline. I'm also the creator of the upcoming Silverline comic book, Shadow Ghost. I'm a Kung Fu instructor and a comic book guy. So it's the Kung Fu comic by a Kung Fu master, and that's what you'll be seeing a little bit of me working on early on here. So.
Okay, so you are. It's your art that we're seeing on the stream. So can you tell us a little bit about what we're seeing?
Sure. So, actually, I've been working on this page for a bit, so you may have seen me working on the other stream, but I'm getting closer to finishing it. This is a page of the Shadow Ghost comic book, and this is actually inside the school, or as we say in Kung Fu, the Moguan, not a dojo, that's for karate. So the Moguan, the martial hall, and the Sifu, the master, just had a little bit of an argument with his son, and hijinks ensue, let's put it that way. So that's kind of what you see on the screen here. Sweet.
Next up on my list here is Roby Kenobi. Roberta,
hello.
Can you tell everybody who you are?
Yeah, I'm Roberta Conroy. Hello. I'm the colorist on Cat and Mouse currently, and I am former Malibu comic book colorist for about 20 years now. So I am happy to be aboard Silverline, and you can find me here live. Hi.
Okay, excellent. Next up on the list is Thomas Florman. Oh, wait, Tommy, what do you have?
He's reading something interesting.
I gotta go big screen with him briefly. Tommy,
I'm busy right now, so I'm reading a book.
What is that? What is that you have in your hands?
None of your business.
Wait! I recognize that.
I'm not done. Hold on, I'm not done. Just another page. And okay. Now what?
Can we see it? Can we see it?
Oh, nice. That looks good.
Wow, that looks so good.
Saved in the light, maybe. Can you see? Is it coming through?
There's a little shiny. Yep, it's shiny.
I turned it up. We should have the hopefully this week we'll have all the Kickstarters for the Burr and Burr. Am I pronouncing it right?
Yeah,
Burr.
that works.
And the Silverline team featuring Champion and Miss Fury. And here's like a copy I printed up because that's a book that I inked, and I wanted to see what it looked like. And since I'm co-owner of the Kablam Digital Printing, I can print stuff up like this whenever I feel like it. And so I wanted to see.
So true story. On Trumps, right? I was talking to Tommy, and we were talking about comps, and I said, "Hey, hey Tommy, here's the comps, blah, 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 we got the multiple covers. What do you want? He goes, don't worry about that. If I want one, I'll print one up. I went, okay.
Yeah, it's not something that, I'm not going to run off just hundreds of thousands of copies, that kind of thing. But of course, my name is Thomas Claramonte. I've been doing comics since the early 90s. As we spoke, I am the currently inking the Silverline Miss Fury #1, which is, here's a copy of it. And that we kickstarted that a couple of weeks ago. It was fully funded, and this book, along with the Bear book, should go out here, or at least I'll have it all printed because I am the co-owner of Kablam Digital Printing, and we will get to printing this week on all of that stuff. And I'm also inking Rejects, and that's C. Michael Lanning, which I guess he can't come on tonight because he's probably fighting a hurricane at the moment, since he lives in the path of he lives in the Louisiana area, the Baton Rouge area. So I'm sure that they're getting some of the feeder bands probably. And I'm also going to be inking for Silverline the Dean Zachary book, Silverblade, and then I'm also inking another book over Pete, which is Pete. Clinton penciled this book, but we're doing the 4th issue of Trumps, which will be starting on. And then I hear there's like this special Christmas.
I'm going to start muting you.
Don't know what we're talking about. This, but something, and then of course I got my own Kid Hero books through Inferno Studios and all that good stuff. So let me get back to reading. I got to get back to reading.
So that's the crew for tonight. We're missing a couple of folks who we do know what's going on with C. Michael, and we do hope that they're well. He sent me a message. He said, "Yeah, it's almost a guarantee I'm going to lose power." So I think he's a bit out in the boonies, but for those the others who aren't here, I'm not really sure why, and we wish them well. Miss Vanilla Star, we try to be as active with our chat as we possibly can. So if you come up with questions, if you have questions, don't hesitate to ask them, and we'll do our very best. Stephen Brown says, "Hi, what's up, Stephen? It's good to see you." CubeTube says, "Hello, Silverline. What's going on, CubeTube?"
Look how beautiful that double-page spread has turned out.
You gotta stop doing that, dude. Now, put it back up there. Put it back up. Put it back up. Put it back up.
Wait, I want to see it.
I know. We want to see it. Oh, that is.
I love it.
Looks fantastic.
It's great to see it all finished like that.
Yeah,
It's hot in there.
it's hot.
It's hot in there. So, Stephen Brown said his comic is finished. That is fantastic. Well, Stephen,
nice, congratulations.
I highly recommend a printer called Kablam Digital Printing. It's good. Even if you're like, I'm going to go traditional printing, I'm going to print thousands of copies, let me recommend this. And here's what I would actually recommend to anybody who's like, I'm going to use a different kind of printer. I really should be a salesman for Kablam.
Yeah, you should.
But you can. So here's one of the coolest things. All right, so man, I'm going off on tangents here. So I started working in comics back in the late '80s, and when we printed copies, we had to print a minimum of thousands of copies, right? And so when you were going to go print a comic, you had to print that many, right? I mean, you just had to print a whole buttload of them. And now with digital printing, you can print. Get this, one copy.
One copy.
Just one copy. So, Stephen, what I highly recommend that you do is that you set up an account with Kablam. You go through the process and you upload your comic and you print one copy of your book so that you can see what it's going to look like, and you can go in and make changes if you feel like you need to make changes. And it's an easy process to, if you're like, well, I've got to redo this page, or I've got to redo that page. It's an incredibly easy process to just swap out the pages with Kablam, and you can print yourself another one copy. You could even kind of consider it a proof copy. And I'll tell you what, the last time, now I haven't printed a proof copy with a traditional printer in a long time, but the last time I did, printing one copy from Kablam as a proof is cheaper They're printing a proof copy at most of these traditional printers, right?
Yeah, I mean that's the whole deal about going digital compared to traditional printing. Is we all know that when you got the cost of doing it traditionally is all of the setup cost and all the time and the effort. Now to print one book digitally is it's there is no setup fee. It's just
you don't have these plates and stuff that you've got to do.
And then you can make changes, and if you got, I mean, just think you're going to pay I forgot what the minimum was, even on a black and white book, the setup fee, because they have to print out all the plates. Weren't they like charging like $10-$20 a plate?
I was going to say
That's cheap.
Yeah,
it used to be $100.
I was going to say I remember $100 a plate. But now
I don't remember.
Yeah, that might have been. I'm thinking I remember $100 a plate.
And then if you get, like you're saying, if there's a change, you got then you got to pay to get
Yep. And
now if you're gonna print thousands of books, if your orders come in that great, and I hope that everybody's orders come in that
absolutely.
Great. Then going traditional is the way to go, because it's going to be cost effective to do.
But
that.
I actually still argue, though, Tommy. I actually still argue that even if you're going to go that way, print a copy at Kablam as your proof copy, right?
Yep, I think so.
They're not obligated to, no one's obligated to print anything additionally, right? You print your one copy, you have it shipped to them.
Literally print on demand. You want one, we print one, and then the files are there for if you need to reorder. If not, then we never look at them again.
Right.
We keep them around forever, as you know, because we keep all of the. We've got hundreds of thousands of jobs that are ready to go for when people place reorders, and we'll still get people that placed orders 15 years ago. All of a sudden, do you still have those files? And we're like, yeah, we still got them. We should have deleted them by now, but we still got them.
Before I get too deep, we were talking about Kablam here. Before I get too deep, I can't forget to shout out to Daytona Beach Comic Con, our sponsor. Daytona Beach Comic Con, September 18th and 19th, coming up real soon here. There's going to be a gaggle of us there at Daytona Beach, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll have comics there. Obviously, if you've already got some of our comics, bring them with you, and we'll be happy to sign them if that's what you would like, or leave them at home and buy some new ones. Pick up copies. I always make the argument that comic books are fantastic gifts. So if you show up at a show and you see us and you're like, well, I've already got this one, pick it up anyway, get us to sign it, and then take the other one that you have and give it away as a gift, right? Say, hey, here's this comic book you should try out. I like it. I like it so much that when I saw the creator at a convention, I bought it again and got them to sign it for me. So here is this book for you because I think you're going to like it. Daytona Beach Comic Con, lots of comic goodness there. Like I said, there's going to be... BJ and I were trying to count the other day. I know Aaron Humphreys had to cancel. But I think there's going to be still 9
Michael stepping in to his spot, right?
No, he wasn't able to work that out. No. Yeah, so anyway... still going to be a bunch of us there. We're going to have some all the bags. The convention attendees, you'll get a bag when you enter the door. There'll be a Silverline signature card randomly placed in each of them. So you dig into your bag, see who you got, come over and get that card signed for free, and meet us and say hello and let us tell you about the rest of our comics. The first 250 attendees there will get a Silverline poster, which is this one right here behind me. Be one of the first 250 and you get that. You can bring that to the table and we'll be happy to sign it for you as well. If you're going to be one of the first 250 though, I suggest you bring your own rubber band because they're all going to be there flat. So they won't be folded, and to my knowledge they're not going to be there won't be rubber bands, and I don't normally carry rubber bands on me, so you'll want to bring that. Daytona Beach Comic Con, make your plans now. So what's been going on, you guys?
Ooh, a little bit of everything.
Curtis, you got a haircut, didn't you?
Yeah, I got a couple of them cut. Lost some weight over here.
Looks good.
Faster. Thank you. Thank you.
Now your punches come faster, don't they?
Exactly, and my witty banter even faster. So get ready. I was gonna.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say we were talking about Kablam earlier.
Yeah.
And just throw this out there. I mean, you'd be surprised when you need a comic book really fast what they can do. Like, I haven't fully announced it yet, but I have a video project that I'm working on with another artist for Shadow Ghost. I can't give the full details of it yet because we're still going back and forth, getting agreements signed and things like that. But I needed a prop version of my comic book for it, and I reached out to Tommy, and I was able to get like 10 of them made immediately. So it's kind of cool, even if you just want to have that or for like proof of concept or something like that. So that's really, really special. So Tommy and Kablam did an awesome job. And
well, I didn't tell you, Curtis. I didn't do you that big of a favor. We turned 10 orders of 10 or less around really fast. So.
Well, I don't feel so special now. It kind of hurts a little bit.
Tell him that.
Dude. Was like, only for you. Normally about 20,000 the minimum, and I was like, oh my gosh, But
no, you needed them really quick, so we knocked them out for you.
Well, I appreciate that, and
what are you drinking?
This tastes delicious.
Oh,
what is this? Oh my gosh! I forgot to mention this is a Silverline official merch cup with Mouse from Cat and Mouse.
Sweet.
Travel store. I use it whenever I draw comic books, and it has that kind of like Underoos syndrome where when I drink it, I just feel more empowered and more creative. Individual results may vary, but I suggest you try it. So.
Individual results may vary.
I like better in black.
Look at that.
Ooh, better in black,
There you go.
You gotta have it.
Oh, look at
I
that.
like it with the black handle.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
You can pick what
Do it your
color
way.
you want. You can pick the color.
Yeah.
How many different colors are there to pick from?
Five maybe. I think it's like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
I know there's
Something like
red.
that.
You can even get red in the middle too, or So that's what's been going on with me. I'm gonna leave everybody else to talk for a minute while I enjoy my tasty beverage. So.
But what are you guys drinking right now?
It's somewhere between Jack and Daniel. So
Oh,
Yeah.
no wonder Curtis has to bail really quick at the end of our stream. I gotta go, guys.
Take a nap.
I mean, he just falls over. He leaves it playing, and we just kind of have to shut it off.
Exactly. This is pre-recorded, by the way. They're so good. They're responding to my comments in real time. This is all pre-recorded.
Curtis is, yeah. It is true that there is someone on one of the streams who, because so for those of you who don't know, we're using Discord to do this. Now we don't always use Discord. Now, I personally like using it a lot. I think there's a lot that it brings. But one or two of our folks have they're the old ones. These old dogs don't want to learn new tricks. They're like, I can't figure out how to use Discord. What button do I push? But I like it.
I figured it out. You're talking about me.
Not
I
you.
figured it
No, not you. Dude, usually you're one of the ones that I say when someone says I can't figure it out. I say, well, look, we'll get Tommy in on it. He'll figure out how to get you streaming or something. No.
Anything but Discord. I can't figure Discord out half the time.
What? So
I don't know.
So here's the thing about Discord. I will say this: it is not intuitive early, right? So it's like, how does it work? But really, once you kind of figure it out, it's so easy to use, But it's not that intuitive immediately, because you kind of have to what does this all do, right? But yeah, after you figure it all out, it's real easy, and I like it quite a bit. But we don't normally do that. What was the point? What was the whole point of this?
Technology, you said.
Yeah.
You had to do it, and it's hard to get people on board.
Yeah. What was I had a point.
I don't know. You had a point?
Yeah.
What
As
was the name
usual,
of our
Tommy
stream
interrupted
today?
me.
What was the name of our stream today, Roland?
The name of our stream is Winging It.
Yeah, you just winging it.
You're just winging it.
Yeah, just winging it. So
I don't really like wings or drumsticks either. I'm more of a white breast man kind of a thing. But wings. I don't like wings or barbecue wings.
But were you always that way? As a kid, what did you eat of the chicken?
Breast?
No,
meat?
you did not.
No, I never liked it. I never liked the dark meat. I don't know what it is.
No. Every kid eats this.
No, well, this one didn't.
Yeah, dude, I grew up in Mississippi. What's that, Curtis?
The nugget. It's the best part of the chicken.
Hey, this is a PG-13.
No,
You talked about the
chicken
wings.
Legs.
Chicken legs.
Yeah,
the
drumstick.
But I hated them. I never liked them because all the gristle and all of the thing.
I thought every kid ate drumsticks whenever they had chicken. It's because the parents got the breast.
Oh.
So the kids had to eat the drumsticks.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. I just didn't like it.
I don't like them either. But I don't really like wings. I'm a breast guy too. I don't really.
G show, right?
It is. Yeah. So anyway,
not going anywhere with that one.
No. See what you did, Tommy. So, Robbie, what's been going on with you?
It's been a slow week, so I don't know. Just a day job, lots of deadlines.
How's that going?
Normal stuff.
It's
Good.
Still
good. It ebbs and flows. It's good though.
Does it still have the new shine to it?
It does.
Good.
Well, it also about every other month I've been doing a car illustration for a 2-page spread. That's always exciting. I love that I can do that.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
So you do the illustration for an actual 2-page spread on the magazine?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So cool.
That is very cool. That is very cool.
I love it. I love that. So,
yeah, I think it helps.
Sharp.
Yeah, I think it helps a lot that that you get to do something that you enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
That's why when people talk to me about my day job, my day job is teaching, and I'm like, I'm not one of these, and I've, one or two people have chastised me for it. It's like, I'm not one of these that said, I grew up wanting to teach. It's like, I want to be a teacher. No, that's not what it is at all. It's like, but it happened, and the thing about it is, I have a class that I enjoy very much. Right, I'm not teaching something that I don't care about. It's not like they're asking me to teach algebra, which I couldn't do anyway. But I wouldn't care about that. I get to talk about comic books, which is something I like quite a bit. So I enjoy my class a lot. The grading I don't like so much, but the class I like a lot. So and I think that helps.
I think some of the best teachers are like that. It's like leaders, like. People that want to be a leader, they kind of miss the whole point. It's usually a good leader is somebody that finds himself in a position where they have knowledge or they have something and they're kind of rise to the occasion. The same thing with the teacher. I think if you just want to be a teacher and you don't have any knowledge, you're just into being an authority figure, right? Yeah. So, but you have knowledge you want to share with people, so that's great.
Yeah, well, and especially most of the students at university where I teach, they're in game writing or they want to write for television or film or something like that. So most of them don't come in wanting to do comics, but I would say one out of every 20 students I get, which is for me is a decent number. 1 out of every 20 students I get says, they come through the class and say, hey, I really want to be work in comics. I really want to be a comic book writer. And then that's when I just embrace them. I say, you are mine. Right. So, and usually, because this is, literally this point of view that you guys have right here is exactly the point of view that my online students get. So they see that, I'm surrounded by comics and I think that's one of the things that usually kind of astounds them. It's like, oh, wow, you really do like comic books, don't you? It's like, yeah. Did you think I was just saying that? So yeah.
That's very fulfilling then.
It is. My biggest problem, which you guys have heard me say on the stream before, is that I just can't seem to find enough hours in my day. You know,
It's everyone's problem.
yeah, it's just there's you know, I have that, and I, you know, it's a responsibility. Excuse me, but there's so many other things that I want to do as well. Why is, okay? I think this is not coming up here. I got to refresh this because I think some of these messages are not popping up. Or maybe they were. I typed the message and I never saw it show up. So, so Tommy, what about you? What's been going on with you?
Well, I'm supposed to be finishing up. I'm kind of jumping projects a little bit. I'm supposed to be getting a bunch of the reject pages that I've almost finished inking done. I'm very close to having like 4 more pages done. A lot of you guys have seen them on the streams where I've during the streams when I'm inking and stuff, I don't really ink the backgrounds and all that kind of stuff because nobody wants to see me inking lines because that's kind of boring. So I end up skipping ahead and just start inking, you know, some of the cool stuff, you know, the figures and all that kind of things because that's funner to watch than just see me inking backgrounds. And so I end up with like 5 or 6 pages that are almost done, and then so you end up getting you know, it's like, you know, you'll say, well, we need some more pages for the color, and I'm like, oh, let me finish those pages real quick, and then so I'll just knock those backgrounds. So I've got a couple of the but now we got, you know, we got me kind of shifting to another project that I'm not supposed to talk about.
Yeah.
That we got pages coming in for it that we need to get knocked out. And we'll start on that. And then besides that, I've been doing the, you know, besides the day job with Kablam and stuff, just, you know, I don't know with all of the plague numbers jumping back up again a little bit, you know, we have gotten really busy, Kablam has. So That is really, really good. So all these shows are, you know, starting back up, and, you know, so lots of good orders are coming in. It's really
good.
great. We've been getting a bunch of good orders. But in the meantime, I am finishing up, like we talked about earlier, the getting the Kickstarter stuff done for the Bear and the team up book. I've been working on my part of the add-ons that we have. We had a bunch of commissions that we had to do, so I've been finally starting to get on those, and I finished one of them. I don't know if we want to show anybody. I'll flash it up real quick.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure who this one belongs to, but it turned out really cute. So I don't know if so. There's one little sneak peek.
Oh wait! Do it again. Hold on.
There it is.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. I know who
That
that's
looks
for.
really good.
Yeah, that's Raven.
Get it out of the thing. Yep, turned out cute. I think
Nice.
this person got all. They got both. I think they've got 3 of Ravens done, right?
They got
Let's see how
each
they
of
all
you to do
turned
a
out.
Raven.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. That'd be kind of funny. So, of course, mine will be the best. But, you know, we'll see how they turn out. You know, since Pete's not here and Haley's not here, so they can't say that theirs is better, but I can say mine is. So, so I'm going to try to knock out another one of those tonight. But we just, you know, I'll have mine done by the time the books are all printed. I know we still got to get Pete's from over the pond, on the other side of the pond. What do we call it? The other side of the pond?
The other side of the pond.
Yeah, and it looks like Pete actually drew some of his on like 11 by 17 paper, so that's gonna be. Let's hope they don't get crushed up on the way over here.
Yeah, hopefully he packages them are good. Yeah, because he had 2 of the
full color pieces.
Full color pieces that were big. All the others are smaller. So I got something to do.
One of them looked really good. That one color piece. Did you see the color piece that he did?
I did.
They're not good.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks awesome.
Yeah.
See Michael?
So
I like it.
I had a chance to meet C. Michael at MegaCon.
Nice.
All too briefly, unfortunately, and he ended up handing some things off to me. This is one, so you guys are going to get a sneak peek here. This is a splash page. This is I think you probably saw Tommy inking a little bit of this once before. I know you can't see it really well, but
It's really cool.
yeah, this
Yeah,
is Yeah, this is page 2. Let's see here. I think he put it. Yeah, here's the cover. Okay, so here's the cover for a cover. Which
and I think I'm doing that one on Blue Line so we can have it for the Kickstarter.
Sweet, and that's what this one is for as well. And then
somebody could get the actual pencils and the inks on that. That'd be great.
And then,
cool.
Yeah, here's another one. I love the way, he and I talked about this. These classic covers. It's like we talked, because this is the bad guy. It's like he's not a giant, but it's what's
you always drew him big and menacing, and there's that thing where you would draw a row.
Yeah, and of course I really like that. So
that's really cool.
Yeah. So and then there's a couple of interior pages in here. Oh, here's one he did for Friar Rush.
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah,
I remember seeing
cool?
that. That one's awesome.
Yeah.
I like his hand. I like the way he did the hands playing the guitar.
Uh-huh.
He really can the tension and stuff. That's awesome.
And he's got the finger pointing to the guy down there. So yeah, I really like that. And this is probably one of my favorite panels in the comic, in the Rejects, where Burnside, where Burnside is using his sideburns to grab the villain. I know you can't see it very well. That's too bad.
I still love that you have a character called Hot Flash in that. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
I will tell you this, and I can safely say this because I know my wife's not listening. Every
kiss of death right there.
Every single woman, except for Roberta, she hadn't said anything, claims that they gave me the idea for this character.
then that means that you're onto something, Well,
I just tell them all. Yeah, of course.
That's it. Yeah, name just for you.
Yeah. So anyway, it was very cool to get these from C. Michael. They're good looking pages. So, Miss Vanilla, if you're still over there, did an image ever show up? Or is it still black screen? My son has not been over here.
No, on Twitch.
Yeah,
it's still dark.
It is.
Yeah, it's still dark. I keep checking every now and again.
I don't know if it's. I don't know what I've done.
The label came through and all that kind of stuff. I don't have the volume.
Oh, and hi. I see a hi. So, hi, Miss Vanilla Star.
Hello.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I'm not real sure of what I've done here. I'm sure it's something on my end, but I don't know what it is. So I'm hoping that Brett will ever if he'll ever die, he'll get
Brett will tell you.
Get the opportunity to run over here. So you know what? I might try. I'm gonna turn it off and back on.
Why don't you text him in the middle of his game?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
He's gonna get so mad at you.
Yeah, and see if that works. Yeah, I could actually text him, couldn't I? See if I can send him a message. No, I'll have to do this later. So I got the messages still sending data, so to Twitch. So something I've done, and that says I'm online. So and I have no viewers now. So hopefully, it's having problems connecting. Is what it is. It's going online, sending data, So I must have done something. But I just now noticed I can tell how many live viewers are on each platform. I don't usually watch this page, so. So for our stout viewers, a stout. What kind of word is that? A stout. I'm making up words now. I don't even know what I was trying to. I don't even know what word I was trying to say.
Well, astute viewers, something that they see or notice.
Tell us in another way.
Yeah, I'll say something. If you watched our social media today, you noticed that we posted about Kalis coming soon, and so Kalis is going to be our next Kickstarter. And here's the cool thing: if you recall how we did Trumps, we had a double-sized issue. We're going to do the same thing with Kalis issues 3 and 4 for the Kickstarter. So it will be a Kickstarter exclusive book. We'll talk more about this as we get closer, obviously, but Kickstarter exclusive book that will have issues 3 and 4 under one cover. But we're also going to try something for the first time ever. We're going to try an Indiegogo since the book is finished. We're gonna
cool.
Yep.
Really?
We're gonna combine it. So you'll have a couple of options on Indiegogo. You can get the all 4 issues, or you'll be able to get the trade, because it'll be a trade then, right? Or you'll be able to get both. And then of course on Kickstarter you'll be able to get the Kickstarter exclusive, because we still want to, these are the Kickstarter folks are the ones who were with us for a long time, so still want to do offer the Kickstarter exclusive for that, and then as well as all the various covers for the last couple of issues. So there'll be more options on Kickstarter, but we've never done one on Indiegogo before, so we are gonna give it a shot and see if there is an audience on Indiegogo for Silverline. I think there is, and part of the task and challenge, as always, is going to be finding them and letting them know that the content is out there. So yeah. Okay.
Well, that's big news.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Farm.
Excited to see that.
It's, exciting news. But the thing about it is, this is what I tell people all the time when they say, hey, when's your next Kickstarter? I'm like, what month is it? It's just this year we have run a Kickstarter every other month, and so we have done. So that would be what, January, March, May, July. So 8 books. We've done 8 books this year, y'all. I was putting together the image for. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I was putting together the image for the back issues, right? So and the Kickstarter, where you have the add-ons, you can add the content. You could say, hey, you can add these on, right? And I was putting all the comics on there. And I looked at it, and I'm like, man, that's a lot of books. And I counted. I'm trying to find the image here. I counted, and if I'm not mistaken, there were 19 comics on there. Which means, I wish I had been paying more attention, because it means that we have already outdone Silverline 2.0.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
What was Silverline 2.0's run?
13 comics. Yeah, so yeah, it's kind of exciting actually. It's like I did not realize that we had hit that, and I am really trying to find that image here. Where did I put it? See, this is part of my problem. I think I put it with Kalis. I spent several hours a couple weeks ago, trying to get my folders a little more organized, because I've got the social media stuff, then there's the Kickstarter stuff, and they're not always the same, the same content. So I've got to create different folders for that. But I think, okay, yeah, here it is. So, and of course Adobe has to open up. So I can't count it when it's in just the thumbnail image there. So as soon as Adobe opens up, I'll run through the list of stuff. But yeah, I was kind of excited to see that there was that many, because it kind of snuck up on me, Like I said, the 2.0 did 13 books, and I don't know how many Silverline did as a packager, but I know Cat and Mouse had a run of 18 issues, so we still got a few to get beyond that, plus the other, plus the Silver Storms and some of the other stuff that we packaged, in the late 80s, early 90s. But I'll have to count those up to see what it is. Okay, so here's the list, right? Here's the list of in alphabetical order, because I tried to put them all in alphabetical order on the list. So, and now this list is of course going out for the Kalis Kickstarter, and so I make the assumption that one of the books that Tommy just held up is going to be shipped by then, right? These things will ship. So here's what we got. We got Bear number 1. We got Bloodline, One Shot, Cat and Mouse 1, 2, and 3. Divinity 1 and 2. Fry Rush 1 and 2. Kalis 1 and 2. Silverline Team Up 1. Steam Patriots 1. Switchblade Remix 1. Teen Beetle 1. Trumps 1 and 2. Twilight Grim 1 and 2. That's 19 books. So,
Wow.
yeah. Pretty exciting. I was really excited about it. Like I said, I did not realize that we had reached that many already. But yeah, so I was pretty excited to reach that count.
Yeah, whenever I have to go in as working on the Kablam side of things, go into your directory with all the stuff, it's like scroll. Yeah, because you know how we store everything. It's like because every different cover, every different thing, there's lots of stuff. Yeah.
No, it's exciting. I'm excited. And one of the things I like what Kablam has done. Excuse me. What Indie Planet has done recently is that if you go to the site and you want to check out one of the comics, it will give you the option now to select some of the alternate covers that are available. So you can go and say, "Hey, I want this," or "Hey, I want the sketch cover." Right? You can go and order from Indie Planet.
Except for the Kickstarter covers, you cannot get the Kickstarter covers there.
No, you cannot get the Kickstarter covers.
All these other Kickstarter people, you want those covers? Get on my Kickstarter.
That's right. That's why they're called exclusives. And the other thing, of course, the only other thing is that if it's not up there, it means that I probably haven't uploaded it and asked Indie Planet to put it there yet, because I know there's probably a couple sketch covers that are not there. But if you're like, hey man, I really want to accept it to me, all I got to do is upload the file and send Tommy a message, and they'll get it up there. Tommy or Barry one,
Yep.
So, Stephen Brown says, right now I'm working on a poster to help sell the comic and some other stuff. I think you that's something that you kind of have to plan for. I will tell you this though, posters, depending on what you mean as a poster, posters are going to be pricey and bulky. The one thing that we kind of ran into on our posters, as you can see right there, I think it's like 22 by 28 or something like that. I forget the exact dimensions. But I can get it in with a comic book if I fold it once, twice, 3 times, right? So it's got to be folded 3 times to get in with a comic. Now we do have them available.
Yeah, not the cheapest thing to ship.
No, we do have them available. We bought some mailing tubes, and so we've got mailing tubes available that if you want to buy it, we can mail it to you in a round mailing tube. But yeah, they're and obviously we can't ship it flat because that's too big, and I don't trust any shipper to ship something that thin, that flat, and get it to you. So one of the things, Stephen, when this is a recommendation I got before I ran Kickstarters from others. If you're going to run a Kickstarter, which I recommend, it's a good way to raise some money, raise some funds. The things that you're doing, make sure that you can put in the envelope with your comic. You don't want to do things like, unless you just got a lot of money, you don't want to do things like T-shirts or coffee mugs, or those are cool, but you'll have to, if you get backers to back it, then you're going to have to not just ship them their comic, you've got to get another box and ship their other thing in. So, and that becomes pricey and just kind of difficult to do. So, one of the best pieces of advice I got was do as much digital as you can as far as other rewards, and keep it the size of a comic book or smaller. Yeah.
Speaking
Did
of, I need to get
anybody
you
else
the
wanna jump
digital version of the Zomboid stuff for the Kickstarter. I need to do that.
Yes, you do.
Yep.
Yeah, because
I got to do that tomorrow.
yeah, I actually want to start sending some of those digital stretch goals out.
Yeah, I'll do that tomorrow when I get to the office.
What was that, Curtis?
I was going to say, because we're close to the halfway point, I don't know if anybody else wanted to jump on and do a little bit of the art.
Yes.
Oh, we don't.
If you don't mind
already?
me
Good grief, we are.
Not at all. Let me
running through,
uh,
I can put this up.
All right, and I'm going to get off of that. There we go.
Let's see how, because I got to get you off of here now. Oh, there we go. Stephen Brown says, I tried to do some test print of my comic, but for some reason it won't print double-sided. Aha! So see, you're trying to do it yourself, it sounds like, and I don't know, you're talking about double-sided, you're talking about a printer that I don't know. But I do know that if you go to Kablam's site, they've got the instructions, they've got good instructions on how to, what file formats to use and how you can upload and all that kind of stuff. To kind of walk you through the process. I think for the most part, I upload everything as a PDF. I'm trying to think of if there's maybe early on I uploaded stuff as TIFFs, but just kind of discovered that it was just a whole lot easier just to do the PDFs. And I think Tommy told me at one point in time that they preferred those anyway, or something like that. I don't remember.
It's either way. Well, you don't want to upload every single file as a PDF. If you're doing that, you might as well just upload them as TIFFs. Why convert them into a PDF?
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, if you're going to order a whole, the whole book, go ahead and assemble the book. The front cover, inside front cover, page 1 through 24 or whatever, inside, back, and then back cover. Save that as one big PDF and just upload the whole thing in one shot. Yeah. That way, yeah. But if you're going to send them as single files, there's no reason to
put them in the PDF.
Because you're not saving them that way to start off with. There is no reason to convert them into PDFs at that point.
Yeah.
If that's what you want to do. It's whatever you want to do. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that Stephen. When I the first few things that I printed, I had to have my hand held a little bit by Barry and Tommy to say, no, this is what you need to do. No, this is what you need to do. But honestly, after a few times, it was for the most part, it's pretty well, we got kind of big there, didn't we? It's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Roby, you got a share coming?
Second, when I can get it set up. I'm almost there.
That's okay. Yeah. Roby's she's cranking the motor up over there. Okay.
She's got to get that Wacom tablet. So what do you like to call it, Roberta? Wacom or Wacom? Which do you use?
I know it's wrong, but I think it's supposed to be Wacom. I call it Wacom.
I have been to shows where the actual people, the Wacom folks, talking to different people, they say it different too, because they've got it stuck in their head how they learned it also. And so, I forgot what the real way to say it is now that I've said it so many different times. But
I think it's Wacom.
I think it's Wacom too, but that just sounds so stupid.
I don't like it.
I thought it was Wacom.
I just don't like it.
Wacom?
Yeah, but because does it stand for like Washington Communications or something like that? What does it stand for?
Well, if it's stood for something, it would make more sense. I guess I don't know that.
I'm looking it up right now.
You look it
Figure
up.
that out.
Stephen Brown said, I use InDesign along with other programs. Yeah, Stephen, I use InDesign as well. I put all the pages that you get, but the cool thing about InDesign, you just export it as a PDF, and that's pretty easy to do to get all that set up. So, and you can still
Wacom. That's what it says on that's what the Google says.
Yeah.
WAYCAAM. With a separated there.
What does it stand for?
Well, that's what I say. So
it doesn't say.
I thought it was like Washington Communications or something like that.
How do you pronounce? But getting back to InDesign though, make sure whenever you're you're setting up your files and you're outputting them and all that stuff, go through all of the settings to make sure that you don't have anything crazy default. Because sometimes InDesign will try to stick pages together, and and they put So go through and make sure everything is set properly. Now, I'm not the smartest person with InDesign. Actually, I don't really like InDesign, but I know everybody loves to use it. But you've got to make sure it's set up right, because we get files that people outputted in InDesign a lot, and they just come through messed up. So they'll reduce the resolution, they'll change the color profiles, they'll add profiles to it that we have to to cut off. It'll stick pages together that don't go together. It'll make double page spreads when you're not careful. If you're not careful, so yeah, that's just a word of advice.
There you go. So I just went to look at Twitch, and
it's up. Twitch is up.
Still a black. It's still a black stream for me, right?
No, I got
up.
a picture now.
It's
I
up.
got a picture.
Oh, okay.
I'm waving at myself. Hey, Thomas, what you doing? Hey, there's Thomas. Hey,
I guess
there's
me
Roberta.
canceling in it and restarting it worked then. All right. Well, let's because that's what I did. I just shut it off on through the restream and restarted it. So Roberta, what are we looking at here? What are we watching you color for the last half?
This is going to be a cat and mouse page. It's a really big. Go all the way back. So
Nice.
Boys, go
Who's
back. Whoa! Everybody's busting through the window. So there it is. It's really nice having everybody here.
Why is there a werewolf on that screen?
Some people might go back to the original Cat and Mouse series and remember this guy.
Oh.
Who's this handsome fella?
Yeah. Love those
He looks a little
eyes.
scary to me.
Love those
A little
eyes.
scary to me.
The cool thing is that's exactly the way I always envisioned his eyes.
Glowy red.
Yep, glowy red. Yep, you never see anything but that.
So when he's doing his veterinarian stuff, because his eyes are they glowy like that?
Yeah, if you see them, the idea was that most of the times you don't see them, but yeah, they're always glowy. So my idea behind all this was
because the book I inked was black and white, and so I don't remember.
Yeah, well, and they were just white spots. Right? Yeah, they were just white spots because I envisioned it like like Batman, right? Whenever Batman has his when he's Batman, right? Whenever he has his cowl on, you don't ever see his eyes. You just see the white dots, right? You don't ever see eyeballs. And on the movies you do, but in the comic books you don't ever see his eyeballs. You just see white spots where his eye holes are, right? And this was the way.
So much more intimidating that way, right?
Yeah. And so this was the way I had always envisioned Demon, is that we would never see his eyes, not even ever, because that's he doesn't transform. I mean he's always in that shape. So we would never see his eyes. They're all just kind of this red sort of reflective looking thing, So.
And so why does his one tail have the little triangle thing at the end of it?
So he has 3 tails. And
3 tails?
And they.
He has 3 tails. You forgot. Look at all that.
Explain to me. Explain that. That's something new. I didn't know that.
No, he's always had 3 tails. In fact, if you I think it was in the Demon miniseries, he had to fight against the Cult of 3 Tails.
Yeah, I remember that the cool symbol with the 3 tails like sprouting out.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
Yep.
I have to say, like, I love the world you created, Rowan, because Cat and Mouse could easily have just been like a ninja thing, but when you started throwing in Demon and Champion, it just kind of gave it this whole other nuance that you don't see, especially in books of that time. Just I always love those 2 characters, and I'm so happy Champion is flying with them. Yeah, great stuff.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, sir, a bunch. I'm excited to. It was one of those things that I'd always wanted to get back to Champion. Obviously he was introduced in the series, and I wanted him to do more than I was able to do with him at the time. And so it was exciting to finally kind of put him on the path that I had kind of intended him to be on, several years back.
Will Champion and Demon ever meet up again?
That's a trick question, dude. Let me. Where's my magic 8-ball? I've got a magic 8-ball here. Let me just. Here we go. Ready?
Outlook not so
The
good.
chances are very good. It says.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll see those pages at some point.
Yeah.
Is that a writer's technique I don't know about?
That's how
The magic 8-ball.
Eight-ball?
Yes.
K-ball sits next to their writer's table. He does all of his writing that way. What are we talking about?
So I have these dice, right? Let's see. You roll them. I have to get up. Let's see. Oops. What did I do?
I have to lower my screen a little bit.
Can you still hear me?
I can fit you on there.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
There we go.
So
Oh.
see, you can. I roll the dice, right, and then
Oh, that's cool.
later.
Ponder later. Ponder today.
Today, now, or snack, right?
That's awesome.
Recline.
Recline.
I like this.
Is there a,
This is what I'm always hoping
No.
for when I roll, right?
You just gotta shave off the edge of the dice a little bit.
Yeah, weight them a little bit, right? Yeah, I never like when this one comes up, when it says nap, right, next week. No, I want a nap now. Yeah. So yeah, we can talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, please.
Talking about creating character, because I noticed that Tim and on the Tuesday show, and then I think on Wednesday show, they talked about some of this as well. But we're talking about creating characters. So Stephen Brown says, so let's answer this first. Does Kablam work with Indiegogo as well as Kickstarter? And I think I know the answer to that. The answer is yes, right, Tommy?
I was trying to figure something out.
Does
Well, I'm sorry.
Kablam work with Indiegogo as well as Kickstarter?
Oh yeah. We'll skip
It doesn't
to-
matter, right?
yeah.
To you, it's just an
No,
address.
No. Right, exactly. Yeah. What'll happen is same with Indie Planet, same with Kablam. You're going to send us your backer report at the very end. When you place your order, you're going to tell us how many books that you need, and we'll get that all figured out. And we'll figure out what packages that what they're going to fit in and not. Hopefully you figure this out too before we get that far, because you need to know how much you're going to charge for shipping when you're doing your Kickstarter or your Indiegogo. But yeah, we will. You're going to send us a backer report, and then we'll know who to ship the stuff to. Or we can also send the stuff straight to you, and you can just send it out. So, but yes, the answer to the question is yes. That both of them work almost the same, and we get way more Kickstarter stuff than Indiegogo to fulfill. There's lots more Kickstarter stuff, but we do get the Indiegogo ones too.
So yeah, I pretty much thought that was the idea, because it's just really you need the addresses and what to send them, right? You don't really care if it's Indiegogo or Kickstarter or
you'll just
our new Kickgogo or
whoever it is. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or and we can even do, like, if all of a sudden you've already got your own your own mailing list of 50 people that order books, like in Patreon. We do Patreon fulfillment too.
That makes sense.
And so and it's the same thing. You'll just send us the report of a big spreadsheet of the addresses and what's supposed to go in the packages, and then we'll just we'll ship them all out. Yeah, in the same way, like if you did your mailing list. If you have 30 people that you need 30 books sent to, just send us the mailing list. We'll charge you properly for the amount of postage, and then ship them out. It's no big deal. Yeah.
Nice.
There you go. Yeah. So yeah, it's a cool, I think, service that Kablam offers, because if you've ever fulfilled It's a task. It's quite a task. So it's very cool. So yeah, so let's talk a little. So it's funny because I don't know what caused the shift. I guess we just kind of running out of things to talk about. I don't know what caused kind of the shift in the on the Tuesday and Wednesday stream, but they started probably probably Dean. Dean's probably the one that says, let's talk about these deeper philosophical discussions.
Sounds like a Dean thing.
Doesn't it though? Yeah. So it's funny because I listen to them sometimes, and the teacher in me comes out because I can't always listen to it live, and so. But the teacher in me comes out. I'm listening to it and trying to grade or something like that. And I'm like, no, that's not how it works. You need to do it this way. And then someone will say this. Okay, well that can work like that.
Why don't you pipe up?
Well,
instructor, professor comment.
Well, so if I do when I'm able to listen to it live, but like I said, a lot of times I don't get to listen to them live, and so I'm listening to the replay, and so.
But don't you have the ability to also during the replay put a chat in,
Yes.
and it'll still be attached? Right?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I guess.
You could if you wanted to.
I guess I could do that. Yeah. No, but I like.
I think we should have it like John Madden. I think post show rolling, we should just have you comment over them, just pauses, a freeze frame on somebody, and it's like, okay, now this is what he said wrong, and then it keeps going. That's what I.
Yeah.
The director's commentary.
So let's talk for a second about creating characters. So one of the things I kind of heard them talk about a little bit was visuals or descriptions. And I want you to kind of approach this from the writer and the artist side. Is like, as the writer, how much visual description do you give and supply the artist? As the artist, how much do you want? If you're the artist creating the characters, how much visual do you write about a character that you're going to draw, right? Curtis, I'm going to have the baton over to you, and I'll be right back. But y'all just, here's the baton. Y'all go. I'll be back in just a second here.
Sure. Okay. What about for you folks? Because for as a colorist and as an inker, a fair amount has already kind of been decided. When I did some coloring at Malibu, I would definitely read the scripts because there would be like little nuances, little subtle details that they would talk about, things like, oh, it's a blue light or a purple light or something like that. But do you folks feel like that's part of your interaction with the other creators, or is that something that you kind of just take the baton and do what you want, or what are your guys' thoughts on that?
Yes.
Yes.
No, as far as thinking goes, I usually will chat with whoever, in this case, whoever the editor that hired me to do the job, so I can know what style or what they're looking for as far as the ink skill and stuff. And then usually I get with the penciler and we do you want me to go heavy? You want me to they, of course, the penciler never wants you to change anything, but you got to put a little bit of your own style into it and stuff. But as far as the answer Roland's question, I guess from the original part of the thing is like to create the characters and stuff. Even though I do a lot of inking, I still do a little bit of penciling here and there. And as far as creating stuff, I like to know what the person wants to start off with. So, give me more information. I hate, you just don't know. I hate doing a job and then they go, well, I want you to redo this. I hate redoing stuff. I'd rather do it right the first time. And, maybe it's going to take me an extra week to make sure I'm on the right path. But there's nothing worse for me than starting something and then, and I've done this long enough now where I can tell that, the writer or whatever is like, oh, just do what you want. And I'm like, bull crap. That's not. But tell me. It's like, no. Tell me what you want. I want to get, especially if you're paying me to do it. I want to do it. I'm going to do it my style, my way, whatever we decide on what that is. But, I want to know what it is that you want, because I don't want to waste a whole bunch of time. I don't have enough time to be wasting to be redoing stuff. It's like, you guys know about like when you're designing web pages for people and that kind of stuff. And they're like, can you just design? I know you know how to do computer stuff and you can design things and blah, blah, blah. Can you make me a web page? And you go, well, what do you want? You go, well, just I need to sell some stuff. And I'm like, no, you go find 10 websites that you like, and I will design your website to be kind of like those, right? Just don't tell me to make something up, because it's always wrong.
And changes are hard.
Yeah, changes are way hard, especially once you get to the say that the writer says, draw something this particular way, and the penciler does it and then passes it on to the inker, and we're doing things really quick, and then it gets to Roberta and she's starting to color it, and the penciler goes, no, that character's a girl. Like, what? You didn't say it was a girl. Or it was a guy, or that character had I wanted them to have a scruff on their face, and then you go, well, I did grow instead. No, I meant a beard. You just drew little stubble, and I needed a full beard. You're like, no, wait a minute, you didn't say that. So let's get it all figured out ahead of time.
Yeah, it's like I always hate that about clients. It's like, make sure you know what you want, so I don't have to figure out what you don't want, because that's not the process.
No, I mean,
and I
know that's the worst.
Yeah.
Especially on jobs that don't pay a whole bunch, and a lot of this stuff, this comic book stuff, we don't get paid extra to do fixes. A lot of times, it's usually a page rate, and that's kind of it. And then all of a sudden you got 10 pages worth of things that need to be fixed, and it's like, are you going to pay me again to fix all these things? And they go, well, it wasn't right to start with, and I'm like, well, I drew what you told me to draw, so it was right to start with. And then you get into those arguments, and then everybody gets mad, and then blah, 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 and then everybody starts to hate each other. So so that's why I'm saying, for me, I like to know what it is. Now, if you're working on like a Marvel DC book, if they ask you to draw Spider-Man, and it was the current, you're on issue, I'm just making up some numbers, issue 300's out, and they ask you to do issue 301. Well, you probably pretty much know what Spider-Man's going to look like in the next issue. So, but but when it's this, this type of stuff where we're, it's brand new books and all that kind of stuff, I like to talk it out. I probably aggravate people a little too much, because I want to know everything before I get started on something.
Definitely.
I did some stuff. Well, I guess it's out now. So it's a Valiant a cover I colored, and they just gave me this cover, and I'm like, how do you want me to color it? This is one of those ones. I guess we were talking about it last week. It was a variant cover that a comic shop paid for a one-off special. I think they printed like a couple of thousand of them or whatever for it. It was Ninjak or something. And so I know so Ninjak was on it, and then there was some other characters on it. And then there was a girl that was in a go-go dancing outfit, and then there was this voodoo character, and then there was this car that kind of looked like the Batmobile. And I'm like,
all over the place.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, what do you want me to color? And they just said, you just color it. Just do what you want. And I'm like, no. Don't tell me. Say, who are these people? Who are they? And so finally, after a week of running back and forth, I finally figured out that they actually wanted the girl to be blonde, even though
after a week.
Yeah, the color, it was dark, it was ink dark, but they wanted her to be blonde. And I'm like, well, I wouldn't have colored her blonde, because you drew her hair so dark, and or it was, I wasn't inking it, I was just coloring, and then there wasn't much of a background, and they finally goes, just put a tie-dye background back there, and I'm like, what does that mean? Put a tie-dye background. Just make up one. So I made up like 15 different tie-dye little patterns in Photoshop. It's real easy to do. But, it's like, here, pick one of these. And then they had to go through, well, we like this one, but in a different color of this pattern. I'm like, see, aren't you glad that we worked this out before I went any further? Because, you guys just saying do magic doesn't it doesn't work. Snap my finger, it doesn't work that way.
It always means read my mind.
Yeah, you know what? Hold on.
That's what it is.
Hold on, I got it over here. Let me
An
give you
example? Aha. Love this.
Well, in the chat, Jackson Rennick says, "Give me what you're envisioning. Be specific. Think Alan Moore detail." Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely.
And Stephen Brown says, well, "When I create a character, I think about the traits and how they would act." Yeah, that makes perfect sense. That's the
I don't
very
know.
core. The very.
Mm.
Oh yeah, I see it. Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I didn't know any of these characters. I knew what Ninjak looked like just because I could go look him up, and of course I've inked some Ninjak stuff, but this is a different Ninjak. But there's the blonde character, and so anyway, ta-da! There we go.
Yeah.
So I may have missed part of this.
That was
But that's a really good
Rolling,
point,
you're
though.
muted.
Uh-oh.
And as far as for me, like creating a character, this is my first time doing my own creation, my own property. So because I come from a video game background and stuff like that, and I did some concept art for film, I actually incorporated that into my process. Now, granted, I have the luxury because it's my project. There's no tight deadlines, but I essentially wrote like a rough plot and had an idea. But I also went ahead and did a lot of concept art, spent a lot of time doing concept art and kind of world building. And I kind of found that they kind of informed each other. So sometimes the things in the characters went back and informed what I was writing and back forth. And that was kind of a fun part of the process.
Yeah, well, it sounds like it's clarifying everything to be more of, a vision that can go forward, because you have like a idea for a character and it's just kind of a rough idea. There's a lot that you could change, and you go in a lot of different directions with it. But if you find your other characters are kind of helping you transform each other, they all match. It all, becomes something very unique.
Definitely. What about you, Rolly? We were just kind of going back and forth about it for, as a writer and, collaborating with so many different people. How descriptive are you early on? I mean, like we have Cat and Mouse and especially the newest versions, but like Demon and all that was already settled. But how about for you? How do you approach that?
Yeah, so one of the things I might not have heard, you guys, I was trying to look through a couple of the comments here, is talking about visuals versus personality. So like sometimes I see my students write when they say, here's I say, well, you got to be descriptive for your artist. What does the character look like? Well, this is the character. She's young, she's a teenager, she's tough, she's mean as nails, right? She's got a really, aggressive personality, and I'm like, this is great. All these are good for her character, but what does she look like?
Yeah, because that's a million people right there.
Right. Yeah. So what I try to do is I try to give the basics, right? Generally, I have kind of a concept in my head of what Tommy brought me. Stephen Butler, what's up, dude? Stephen Butler just commented, Tommy brought me here.
I sent him a link just a second ago.
Oh, nice. Yeah. But I invite you. Listen to this now, and if Steven's still listening, I've invited him to join us multiple times. But you know what he always says? I live in the boonies. My internet comes through Dixie cups.
Yeah, right.
So
I'm
gonna keep on him until he eventually breaks down and tries to join us, even if he does
have
to ride the bicycle and power his internet at the same time.
Well, I'm gonna make a trip home at Christmas time, so maybe we'll do a show then, and I will bring him to Renee's parents' house that have good broadband, and we'll do a show together.
Oh, that would be great. That would be great. Yeah, he would be fun to get on here. He'd be telling stories like crazy. Yeah. So anyway, so I try to give like the basics of visuals as well as worked for Gilligan. It did. See, Steven knew what I was talking about, right? So Steven's got a whole passel of kids there in his house. He could just put them on treadmills.
Yeah, that's right.
Here, run on the treadmill for the next hour while I do So I try to do both because I think there is as the writer. You know, here's my thing. And when I hear a writer complain that they don't like something that the artist gave them, I say, my response is, well, you probably didn't give the artist enough information to go on. If you don't like this, then you probably didn't give the artist enough information. And so, I always try to give kind of the basics of, like for Mouse, I remember saying, I want her to be, she's for the new Mouse, she's young, she's Hispanic. I want her to have a punk haircut, and I said, think something along the lines of Neil Gaiman's Death, right? That was kind of what I was envisioning. For their costumes, for both of Cat and Mouse, I said I want them to be something they can pick up at the Army overstock. I live in the South, right? So at the surplus, the Army surplus store, or Big Bass.
Big Mouth.
Big Mouth. What? Bass is a Big Mouth Bass, right? What's the name of that? Bass Pro Shop. Just Bass Pro Shop, right? Something that they can walk into the store and get there, right? They don't have to go to some special person to design spandex for them, right? Got nothing against spandex, but
Incredibles, that the little lady that makes all the
that's
incredible
exactly who
ideas.
I was thinking of, dude. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the visuals that I have, right? And something that I maybe even said, maybe their pants, or particularly for Cat, he has like something like parachute pants, so he has a little pocket so he can put some stuff in, if he ever wants to. I didn't want a utility belt, right? That's kind of Batman's thing, and but you still want them to have pockets so they can access some of this stuff. And
Do you ever say kind of make them look sort of like a certain person or an actor or something like that?
Sometimes, and I will tell you this: that happens. That happens probably more today than it did initially, because we've got greater access to internet images. Back in the day, it was just kind of like, here's kind of what I want, right? But today it's kind of like, hey, I want this, and she looks a little bit like this character, right? And you could just
Brent does that a lot on his scripts. It's fascinating. Brent will just put all these little links in his script for Kalis.
Yeah.
And it's great. He's like, I want this expression, and it's like, oh yeah, there it is.
Right.
So.
yeah. So I think this is one thing that one advantage that the internet has brought us is that it's very easy to. One of the things I tell in my class, I said, don't ever tell your artist to Google it, right? And I'm like, no. You Google it for them and give them the link.
Give them the link, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, it's like, no, don't ever write, hey, they're going to do this, just Google it. No. That is not from my perspective, that is being incredibly disrespectful to your artist, right? Instead, if you've got something, hey, I want it to look like this, here's a link to some Google images that kind of like what I've got in mind, right?
There's nothing wrong with that. I'd prefer that.
The link to the Google images?
Yeah, something specific. Yeah. Because I know it makes it easier for me.
Yeah. I just sent Pete a link. For somebody I looked up something else, and I happened to Google New Orleans alleyways. And like the first dozen images, I'm like, ooh, I love these, right? And so I said, here, Pete, you're going to need these. And they're good. But I do also try to, as far as character descriptions, I do try to include some tidbits of personality, because it's one thing to get the costume right, but there's another thing, some of it's attitude, right? You want sometimes a certain personality comes with a certain attitude, and I think you have to equip your artist with that as well. Because if you want them if you want your character to be cocky, well, they may be standing with, some kind of snide look on their face, or kind of like, yeah, whatever, But that's they're not going to know that if you don't let them know what kind of personality the character has. Or they might be soft spoken, so they would put their body. Body language is important to artists. And if they don't know their personality, there's no way they can incorporate that into the storytelling. So, it's not my job as the writer to body language it, but it's my job as the writer to equip the artist so that they can do it.
Definitely. Like I'm finding that so much working on in my first issue, the first part's an action scene, and then there's a decent amount of conversation. And it's like originally in my first sketches, like everybody's just standing with their arms locked, standing there,
Yeah.
and they all look like like static action figures. And it was like, oh man, there's a whole side of storytelling that needs to be told here, So all of a sudden you start realizing like, okay, well, one of the guys is supposed to be lazy, so in every scene he's always leaning on something because he's kind of lazy. He's always trying to get out of working out, and the way people angle and all that kind of stuff, and it's fascinating because there's so much drama just in that alone, so much storytelling.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so much to learn there. It's
So
amazing.
there's, in thinking about that, there is, there's a reason that the X-Men had the Danger Room, because people standing around talking is visually boring. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we could probably point to a lot of writers working today for the big companies who do that, and it's visually boring, right? You look at them, and I picked up some Marvel comics here lately and flipped through them. I'm like, man, just talking. Where's the hitting? Where's the punching? Where's the flying? Where's the blasting? That's a superhero comic. This is what I want to see. But yeah, you think about it. The Danger Room is where they weren't in an actual battle with somebody. They were training, and so Stan Lee was brilliant, right? So you could get them into action to demonstrate their powers. What powers do these characters have? You could put them into interactions with each other, so you could show the relationships between them. And they could also have these conversations that you don't want them to just be sitting at a table having a conversation about, right? They could be talking about anything, how much Wolverine actually loves Jean Grey, but he won't say anything because Cyclops will blast him. You know what I'm saying? Those are the kinds of things that they can do in the Danger Room instead of just sitting at a table where that would be boring.
Well,
and visually appealing.
The thing I learned from you too is it allowed you to start every issue like bang in the action, no explanation in crazy scenarios that got everybody's attention, right? And then once you got them there, you could ease into them like toweling off or doing whatever and kind of have a quiet moment, right?
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that you impressed upon me. I always remember when I was your assistant at Malibu. I remember you lent me this book called Armor.
Oh, yeah.
To this day, there were two books that you lent me, right? So Red Badge of Courage, that's a given, right?
Yeah.
And then the other one was Armor, but I specifically remember you telling me, "Oh my gosh, I love this book because when you read it, it starts bang, you're right in the action." Because there's no exposition, there's nothing, you're just right in it. And yeah. And so, but yeah, the Danger Room totally allowed that. Now that you say that makes sense.
Yeah.
Perfect sense. Yeah.
So, and a lot of it is, and of course, I realize comics are you can do anything you want to do in comics. So that's not what I'm suggesting that But I think part of what makes comics is that it is a visual medium, and if you're just going to tell a story of a character sitting around at a table talking, well, why don't you just write prose? Why are you going to do a comic book about it? Because that's visually, it's not very appealing. It's not very exciting. And I don't mean everything has to be a superhero bash fest, but they're comic books, and you want them to be visually exciting, visually stimulating.
I'm laughing because originally when I would read comic books, you go, "How are they talking a mile a minute in the middle of throwing a punch or doing this?" And because it's really hard if you've ever sparred or fought, right? It's really hard to say anything when you're dodging a punch or punching. One time my Sifu actually spoke to me. That's how good he was. One time we went to Hong Kong, And I met one of his friends, and his friend taught me the special maneuver, right? And it was his friend. He introduced me to him. And we came back to the States, and I was sparring with my teacher. And he threw a technique, and I countered him with what I learned from his friend in Hong Kong. And he knows every move that I know is from him. So he was shocked that I was using some obscure technique where you hit somebody with their shoulder. And he had the wherewithal while he was countering and then flipping me onto the ground. He actually said, "Who taught you how to do that?" As he was doing the maneuver. It was the funniest thing.
Cool.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh my gosh," he actually was able to say it while he was throwing me on the ground. And he was in shock. It was the funniest thing. And it can't happen. So if he can do it, superheroes can do it. I'm a believer now.
Yeah, well, and that's part of it, is that they should be good at what they're doing, right? They're superheroes, not just heroes.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
But the one thing I'll add in, and I know Dean does talk about this kind of thing a lot, is that these are worlds of fantasy. They are escapism. They're not real. These things are not real, and so it's okay to treat them as not real. It's okay that Spider-Man can have a what would normally be a 5-minute monologue in the span of a couple of panels, because he's Spider-Man, and it's usually when well written, it's usually really funny, and you're laughing because of all the things he's saying. But that's part of what makes Spider-Man Spider-Man, and it works. This is pretty interesting. Stephen Brown says, like when I designed one of my character's suits based off a muscle car, I wanted to show the character to represent speed and muscle. So you use a muscle car as kind of a base image for the design. That's actually kind of cool.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Cool.
But,
one time when I was working in Hollywood, for this movie, I was doing this concept of like a giant, like Jason and the Argonauts, like a giant Cyclops. And so I figured, just on a side note, because they didn't write much about him, that he was insecure because he only had one eye. So everything he had was in double. He had like 2 ponytails. He had like 2 braces on each wrist. He had a sword with 2
That's
blades
cool.
coming out.
Yeah.
Everything was in 2s because it's just sometimes you get that kind of creative feeling. And you go off on this riff,
Yeah.
And that's always
Funny.
the fun part. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
But see, I think too that's kind of where, for me, where a lot of the collaborative work that is comics is fun, because you can give some descriptions to an artist and let them run with it. And I know there are some artists who some writers who will have like a cookie cutter costume thing, and they'll draw the costume. I've seen some of them, and I will confess occasionally that there's Demon was very much like that for me, because he was a character that had been around for me for a long time, and I had a specific idea of what I wanted him to look like, and but it's like I really want him to look like this, and so I had that for I guess Mitch was the first one to really kind of get him published in drawing, but he was the first one to draw him. But again, I had this very, very specific visual in mind already, so it's like this is kind of what I want right here. I think.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I have a question for for Tommy and Roberta. When you're working as an inker or a colorist, of course, like there's certain things that everybody's going to be bound by to keep the storytelling going. In other words, like there's a certain level of ink, line weight and things like that, or a certain color scheme that is dictated by the lighting and all that. But do you ever find yourselves kind of breaking the rule just a little bit because this character is supposed to be a little darker? Like you might add a little bit more of a jagged line, even though that's not indicative of the other characters, or change the lighting a little bit on one character that really normally wouldn't make sense in that setting. Is that something you ever delve in, or is it, or do you?
You have to be careful. Yeah, you can do that, and I have done that. And when I feel like something doesn't match the storytelling, but I mean, generally, I'm thinking that the inker had more information to work with than I did. And then
We
as a
don't.
colorist, I tend to be the end of the line, so people may or may not have told me enough about the character and the motive and the scene and everything. So I take every cue I can from how the art came at me, and that's step one. And if generally it would have to be something that just doesn't match for some reason for me to want to change that, because otherwise I can do an awful lot of that in the coloring process, not having to do it in, affecting the lines.
I was going to go just the total opposite. I was going to say that the colorer is the one that has the complete control over how the scene.
Well, with the lighting, yes.
Yeah.
And
Because
I
you're at
don't
the end
think
of the
we
line,
have so
Tommy?
much control anyway.
Yeah. Try to when I'm inking, I'm mostly trying to take the cues from, trying to keep the weights in the right spot and make sure that if there's a lot of darks, areas in there, I try to keep those, I'll add a little bit and try to make it pop and look cool and all that kind of stuff. But to me, it seems like the color is the
That's the part that,
yeah.
is the process that can make that happen. Tends to be. But I think what Curtis is coming about is sometimes there is, like an area that will need more attention. And I think for the most part, you can delve into the inks if you have to for that. Just like with all this tedious work I'm doing right now, it's fun when it, I'm sure it's fun when you get to the end of it and you can say, look at the difference it's going to make, versus it could be black. And sure, it's perfectly fine black. But, if I'm going to start just a subtle change in there that can make an emotional difference in it, it's not going to stay flat like that. But, I mean, it does make a difference. But I have to go in and cut around it. And, there's a little bit of leeway on, changing.
I'll look at something and, you're going to get me in trouble on this one, but I'll look at it and I'll go, you drew some detail that being, part inker, part printer, part color, part all the different depths in there, that I do. It's like, you drew a bunch of stuff that's just not going to reproduce. And so it's like, do I put a whole lot of effort in? Because I'm like, man, the penciler drew all this stuff and it's not going to even show up. And then Roland's going to stick a word balloon over the top of it. And it's like, I don't even, why I want it, So, but, I'll go and render something out a little more detail that I think that's cool. Like we talked about it on the page in the, and let's see if I can pull it up real quick. This one page that Roberta colored beautifully, but that one page that I wish I would have colored, or I should have inked on paper because I would have wanted to keep that one. It's the one where the boss, the bad guy boss, is in his office.
Oh yeah,
all the
shadows
I
and the
love
blinds.
that one. So that might be one of my favorite pages. It's so interesting.
So maybe we can pop that up on the screen. I don't know if you can focus in on it.
Yeah.
Pete drew all this stuff, but and a lot of it was a little more silhouette-y or not. So I just kind of went in and tried to make it pop a little more because I'm like, all those lines, I wanted to make sure that they were crisp enough that they showed up.
What page is that, Tommy?
Page 11.
So I'm gonna try something here. I think I can do something.
Oh, cool. You can pop the image up.
Yeah, I think I can do it.
That'd be good.
Yeah, because this page has a lot. Like there's some stuff in that top panel, if I remember right. There was some detail over in this paneling over on the right hand side of the page at the top, and I think he drew some stuff in there. And I'm like, that's a prime spot for where Roland's going to put dialogue. And what did Roland do? He put dialogue over it. So I just kind of made sure that there was some highlights in there, so you could see that there was office stuff, but there was no reason to over render some. But then you get some of the other stuff, and it's like, man, the guy's beard and this gold tooth and all the hair and all that kind of stuff. And
so the image is
I
up
think
there
that
now.
tooth is like my favorite part of it.
So the image is up on the screen now, there, Tommy.
Yeah, if I remember right, that top right panel,
Where
I think
is
it was more.
Oh,
yeah,
there it
just
is.
yeah, that stuff over on the right hand side. I think where I just blacked it in.
Uh-huh.
I think he intended it for it to be black, but I think it had a little more detail in it. I'm like, Roland's going to put word balloons over all that stuff. It's like there's no. But then I added extra stuff over. I mean, it's everything that Pete drew. I didn't.
Right.
I'm not the penciler on this book. I'm just the inker, and so all of the I wanted to make sure that the window shade was there and the smoke popped and so I made sure that the rendering of the inks and you did a great job with the color. The guy on the second panel with the beard and the tooth and all that feathering of the lines. I wanted to make sure that there was plenty of shadow and stuff. I think I may have added. I mean, you guys know how I ink. I think I add a little more. Maybe added a little bit of more. Cleaned up the feathering lines to make it so it was a lot shadowy looking and stuff. And so, I mean, that's a gorgeous page. That page starts out really
there's the
good.
lettered version. So.
Well, there it is. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Word balloon. That's
I
that word
think
balloons on.
You don't want to focus on the cabinet.
No, there's
And
no
then-
need. No, and I think there wasn't books and stuff in there, of course, but I think it may have had a little more.
Well,
More
it's probably
stuff.
the closed version of what's inside. At the bottom.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, exactly. And that page too. So to Curtis, to answer your question, I think when it's going to be real moody and stuff, there you go.
Yeah, there it is.
See, it looks like there may have been some more rendering that he kind of went. I'm like, there doesn't need to have to render all that stuff too much. It's like,
I like what you did because it gave a focus to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And look at that second panel. Pete gave me great stuff to ink in there, but I went through and brought the whiskers out and made them pop on his mustache and a little bit of the shadow under his chin and and a little bit there. Yeah, and that gold tooth. You made that gold tooth look cool. Yeah. Yeah, your mood lighting on that fifth panel or the fourth panel with the one with the fan and stuff. I was wondering how that was going.
Yeah.
Look at how cool that with the shadow popping in the background back there. That's a beautiful
I love
page.
that shadow is there. It's just so dramatic.
I hope we win an award on that page alone because that page looks so good.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Well, and it's such what if it was in lesser hands, for everybody involved, it wouldn't be so riveting, just to somebody hanging up a phone call. But it's amazing what you guys pulled off with it, and I love the sense of timing, like when you read books like Scott McClaw's book on timing, a lot of that just comes down to composition and stuff like that. But the inking choices, the colors, denote a different sense of timing. I mean, I'm fixated on what is one of the most slender panels on the page, which is that gold tooth, but I'm fixated on that because of the detail, and that gold tooth, and it just really pops. Of all the panels, I really focus on that. It's really cool to see how the timing works.
This kind of answers your question also, as a colorist, I'm kind of guessing what the timing should be without the words.
Yeah.
Sure.
But visually, I'm trying to think, I think you need a pause there. It's just in my, sense of pacing and eye movement in choice, that's the aim that I have is I have the control.
Yeah.
Where am I going to go?
Yeah.
And, this is what I think would benefit the story.
I think Roland gave Pete a good page worth of stuff to draw. Pete gave me everything I needed to be able to when I needed to be able to ink it. Really, I think I really like that page, and then you colored it so beautifully. It turned out good. And then somebody put word balloons over it.
I like the word balloons, and I like the big crunch. That's really cool. Because they're just shards otherwise.
Yeah.
Gotta have them.
And I love the expression of this face right here. These guys' face, right? From their video call. Yeah, I love that. Yeah,
I love that fan though. I love the movement on the blades of that fan. It's just
That fan is so cool. I can almost hear it.
I know.
Yeah.
And the thing about
Right?
it is, because I know Tommy is absolutely gonna know. It's so dead gum humid down there. I can feel that fan. The humidity there in New Orleans. And this may be weird, but I love the spittle coming out as he's so angry, right? He's
totally.
so mad, the spittle's coming out. That's very kind of a Jack Kirby thing too,
And sometimes you may add a little more. He may have like one little piece of spit come out, and they're like, one spit? No, he needs 3 or 4 spits. So you just add a couple little extra, and
To me, it echoes a lot of like my favorite Daredevil, Kingpin scenes.
Oh yeah.
Frank Miller. Really, really those nice silhouettes and the moodiness and the intensity. It really echoes that.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Yeah,
great
I think so. I think so too. And this is yeah. And the funny thing about it is, this wasn't, as far as the story goes. This was like when I was writing it, it's like this is not one of the ones that I thought would be visually stimulating, because it doesn't have Champion in it, doesn't have Miss Fury in it, doesn't have Pistol or Nim in it, who the villains of the group. It's got their boss, and he's on the phone, and I'm like, okay. But I'm like, holy crap, look at this page.
Right?
go back to the pencils for a second, real quick. I was looking at something. Taking liberties with the inks and stuff, like the panel 5 or whatever. It's like, so you got what Pete drew as far as, this is what an inker gets a lot. You'll get where Pete drew all this shadow stuff in, right? So what, you've got the shadow that's a black shadow of him. Well, you got the shadow of the window shade that's casted over his back, which that's light coming from outside, and Roberta of course colored it perfectly. But then you've got the shadow of him on the desk, and then you got this like the desk beyond him where it's got all these little crosshatchy kind of little lines, and it's like. So when I started, I remember it now when I'm inking it. I'm like, do I make that black, or he put these little lines, and I'm like, I'm going to take what he did and actually kind of give it a different shadow look, also. So that way it's just not black and black and more black and black and black, because eventually it's in reality, because Roberta's coloring it, what. Do I even need to fill in any of the black? I could just leave it open and just say, here, put shadow everywhere. Why do I have to ink all black? To start off with.
And of course,
that's another choice too.
Yeah.
And if I can point out something that really just shows the really nice storytelling here is, look at the 4th panel, right, where he's slamming the phone down. And you look at that 45-degree angle of the table. And then you go to the panel below and look at all those 45-degree angles. It's like one seamless eye trace straight through that other panel and dumping you down onto that bottom panel.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Great
That's
story.
Yeah, it's
Great
like
story.
Just a big sweep.
down to there. Yeah.
Excellent composition. And I think what I really like on that panel that Roland has the cursor on right now is the fact that you blacked out. It's a nice solid black shadow on the boss. Really allows you to enjoy all the little details elsewhere. If that was like crosshatch or something like that, it would just be way too freaking busy. But that gives you that break. You can enjoy the rest.
Or like the shadow beyond the desk, right? If I'd have just blackened that all in, you wouldn't have been able to tell what was going on. So you kind of needed that, like you're saying, that little break of line there. You could have put a white, obviously you could have put a white line there just to show, that's the edge of the desk, but that looks kind of silly. Sometimes I hate putting halos around stuff when I ink. I don't know if y'all noticed that. I'm not
Sometimes
a halo kind of guy.
Yeah, sometimes if you don't have that thought process, you didn't.
Right. Yeah. There's certain times that when you're inking, you have to have what I mean by a halo, if anybody's interested or wants to know, is like when you have two black objects touching each other, and there's like some people will like picture a character that's mostly in dark, standing in a dark room. They'll put like a halo around them. Sometimes like that you have to do it, but there's other times where their arms are crossing, their black outfit is crossing over into something that is just partially black, and then you still get these halos. It's like, if you don't need to put a halo around stuff, I just don't like doing it. I think it,
I think it looks the best when they don't lose the halo, but they change the halo so that it just kind of fades.
Yeah.
So that some of the color goes in. That's what I like the most. But to have just a straight halo, it kind of starts looking more like that's interesting, and it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to do it, but I really try to get. I don't think you actually penciled any halos into this, but you get that from time to time.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't like them. Yeah. I don't like the way that they look.
I'm not a big fan of them. I think they work sometimes.
You need them. Yeah, you need them sometimes. You have to have them because otherwise you get. Like in a dark room and a character is walking in a black room. It's like, how are you going to see if anybody's in there if there's no halo around the character? Yeah. So sometimes you got to.
Now the only thing that I'd say, I wasn't sure about when I started coloring this is whether I should add a smoke element to it because he's smoking. That I decided to remove that, because it was. It would have been distractingly busy.
Oh, look, I hadn't printed it yet. I hadn't printed it yet. Can you go ahead and put that back in?
Yeah, right. But no, I think it should be without. Even though it would have added an atmosphere, I just felt like it had enough.
Yeah.
I think the word is restraint, right? It's one thing that when you have the skill set, you can do anything and everything under the sun. But to have the wisdom and the restraint to pull back here, right?
Yeah.
Is that's a professional artist, right? Because usually a beginner will throw it. Look what I can do. I can do this. I can do that. I can do this. I can do that. And a pro is like, I'm just doing this. Look here, right? That's it.
Yes.
That's a perfect example. Yeah, good restraint.
It's got to read right. I think that's the end of the conversation. Pretty much, it needs to read right. Regardless if it is right. It's got to look right. It's got to read right.
Yeah.
Well, in my opinion, you change the reality of the world to fit your story, whether whether something is 100% right or not.
That's absolutely 100%. I agree with that. That's like biblical there.
I love all our Kickstarters, but as a fan, I'm like really jonesing for this one. So like, Tommy, please put me to the front of the line. I am so jonesing for this one. I can't.
Yeah.
Give me. I can't.
That's just
I'm
cruel.
really jonesing for this.
I know it.
Yeah, so that's just a bit cruel there, Tommy. All right, y'all. It looks like where did my there that is. So y'all, it looks like we have run out of time. I was gonna say what happened, but it was just Roberta.
I closed it.
Yeah, no.
I can't find the stop stream button.
Okay.
I was afraid of like dipping out of the entire
I know. Yeah.
video. There we
go.
Okay, but it's 7.
Yeah.
Our time.
Yeah, 10 o'clock here. I have a 9 o'clock class in the morning, so it's like it's my first Monday morning class, and well, I guess since pre-plague. I've had some Tuesday morning classes, but this is early. Stephen Brown, I'm not sure I understand your question. How do I get the mailing list for my comic? What do you mean by that? How do you get from Kickstarter? After you run your Kickstarter, how do you get the list to mail out your comic? Is that what you're asking?
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. How do I get the mailing list for my comic? So what I'm going to assume, until you clarify, I'm going to assume that is what you mean. So what happens with Kickstarter is when the campaign is over, you will send out a survey to all of your backers. And as part of that survey, they'll get you their addresses, so that I mean, obviously, you can't send them a book if you don't have their address. So they'll get you their addresses, and then you will be able to export that and as an Excel spreadsheet, and then you'll have all of their addresses. And that's the thing that you could send to Kablam if you're going to use them for fulfillment. They'll just take that and use to fulfill your campaign. Make sure your backers get the books that they backed. So it's pretty easy.
And that'll be the list that you go by to know when you're placing your order, because you still need to place your order with us. Because you're not going to just send us that list and then we're going to, if it's a huge list, and I'm going to go count line by line to figure out. No, you still need to figure out, what it is that you need to order, how many U.S., shippings, how many foreign shippings, how many going to Canada, how many going to Mexico, blah blah blah. But you'll still have to break it all down, and you'll get it from them when it's over, when your Kickstarter's over.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's what he was asking about.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's actually the more of them you see with the add-ons now, the Excel spreadsheet gets a little busy.
Yeah, I know. We've been having to deal with that. Our Barry's been having to deal with that.
Yeah.
He's probably watching.
but once you kind of figure it out, you can say, okay, I get what's going on now. You have to be careful not replicate things on your from your add-ons that were on as like a reward. You have to be careful not to replicate that, because sometimes the spreadsheet will make it look like they've got two of them, and they actually don't. He said that's what I was asking, because I want to make sure how to get the books to them after they order. Yeah, so obviously there's a couple of ways you can do it. You can place your order through Kablam, send them that list, let them handle fulfillment, which it's going to be far easier on you. Or you can just say, hey, Kablam, I need this many books. They'll send you the books, and then you have to pack them all up and go to the post office and ship them out yourself. So it can save you your fulfillment through Kickstarter. Fulfillment of your Kickstarter through Kablam can save you an awful lot of time and energy, especially if your post office is like mine and you can get really long lines and have to stand there and wait forever. And then they question you about every package. Is this flammable, dangerous, blah, 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 blah? Does Kablam use foils? Tommy, you don't happen to have the
I didn't bring any of them home with me.
The answer to that, Stephen, is yes.
Go to the Kablam website. Look under the order form for your stapled books, your saddle stitch books, and there's a link inside there that's got to the page. There's a video that we've got up that shows you and we've added 2 more foil papers now. We've got a lava foil, which kind of looks neat, but then there's also a one that's called speckle, I believe, which is just the whole thing is just bunches of little rainbow dots. It's just dot. It's pretty crazy.
Tommy won't let me call them the space tape covers.
You call them whatever you want.
You guys remember space tape, right, from the 1970s? Come on, Curtis find that. Do you remember, Curtis? You get these little rolls of space tape. I used to
my grandparents had.
Hey, my grandparents. Ouch! I used to put those things all over my notebooks in junior high and stuff. So. Okay, so all right. Don't forget. Thanks everyone for joining us tonight. We had a blast just winging it. Don't forget we have a Tuesday show called that Silverline show on Tuesday. That is 8 p.m. Pacific time. It's particularly geared for all you West Coasters, which is like 11 o'clock my time. It's really, really late. This is why I listen to their stream most of the times the next day on the replay. And then Wednesday Wham will be back here again Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time. No idea what they're talking about, but they always have something interesting going on. And then we will be back here again next week at 8 p.m. Eastern time to talk about something different. No telling what we'll be talking about yet. So thanks to Daytona Beach Comic Con for being our sponsor, September 18th, 19th. Make your plans to attend Daytona Beach. You'll get to see a whole gaggle of Silverliners there. Get some signatures. Hopefully, we can convince you to pick up a signature book so that you can travel the country and get signatures from all of the Silverliners scattered about the good old U.S. of A. And fill that signature book up with Silverline signatures. Curtis, where can folks find you on the interwebs?
Sure. You can find me two different ways: for my martial arts school or for my comic book. For the comic book, it's Shadow Ghost Comic on Instagram and on Facebook. And for my martial arts school, it's Tiger Crane 805 YouTube and Instagram, and Tiger Crane Kung Fu on Facebook. So that's where you can find me.
Sweet. Roby, what about you? I like your shirt, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Silverline.
Yeah. Where can folks find you on the interwebs?
Yeah, you can find me in Facebook under Roby Conroy and in Instagram, and thinking about a TikTok that I haven't decided if there's anything that deserves to go on it. And so I was thinking I might make some really kick-ass like time-lapse things.
Oh, that would be really cool. Though I love those kind of things. Absolutely do. Yeah, I keep waiting for Tommy on TikTok since he doesn't TikTok. I keep waiting for him to do that dance. That Tommy, you're gonna know this. The dance you see these girls sometimes. I don't even understand this. Tommy, they do this. They'll go. It's like, what's that all about? I don't even know what that is.
I try not to go to TikTok. I know a couple of weeks ago Pete was talking about how he was able to get it to show other stuff, but I cannot get anything but
I will say, this past week, for me, my daughter sent, because usually what happens, my daughter will send me one, she'll send me a link, and then I'll go, and then that's when I see all the stuff, right? Otherwise, I don't go. But something happened, someone else posted one, and I went to TikTok, and then I was like, I didn't see any dancing girls at all. I'm like, no. I'm like, okay, now is it based on who sends it to me, or it's like I don't know. So I'm scrolling.
The last thing you search. Okay, so I'm going.
I
to
didn't
the app.
search though. Why you keep saying that? That's what I didn't search for dancing girls.
Right.
That's the thing.
Probably just based on what you looked at already.
Oh, look, I don't have dancing girls this time.
Yeah. So,
I've got dancing guys this time, and The Rock.
Yeah.
I don't know. The Rock Johnson's is on. I don't know what he's doing on here.
I don't know the guy's name. I have the black dude that always does this now. Right? They'll do some, and someone will do something stupid, then he'll do it, and he'll go. Okay, get my hands there. And he's funny. He's really funny. I like that guy. Tommy, where can people find you on TikTok and the internet?
Just go on the Googles and type in Thomas Florimonte, Florimonte. You can go to infernostudios.com, find some links there. Mostly on Facebook, but I do have an Instagram thing. If I get anybody responds over there, I'll chat with you and add some more stuff. I do have a TikTok thing. It's Tommy Don't TikTok. And if I get more than, I think I've got 7 followers. If I get 20 followers by the show in a couple of weeks, I'll put a twerk video up there. It won't be me, but I'll put a twerk video up there. And I'll get all the Silverliners to twerk, and we'll put a video up.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, that'd be good.
I'm
talking about 20 people. I can get more than like 5. Oh look, here's a dancing girl. Look, a dancing girl right there. TikTok.
I will tell you what I do. I would like to do sometime. I would like to have us make a video where we're looking at a comic, and I hand it off, and then Curtis grabs it and looks at it, right? I would like to do, yeah. I don't know how to do that though, so someone else kind of needs to take over and run that. But yeah, I think something like that would be fun. Don't show us dancing girls on your phone.
That'd be a great idea.
I went from 8 people to 11 people from last week to this week.
There you go. So
Tommy Don't TikTok.
Tommy Don't TikTok. Follow him so that we'll get.
That's right. We'll get 20.
We'll get Tommy
Get
twerking
Tommy
at Daytona Beach Comic Con.
I've been trying to get 20 people now for a year, and this is how nobody's going to.
Well, you got to put. It's because you got to put on the bikini.
I'll do that. I'll borrow one.
Okay, and I'm Roland. You
Race
can
to the
find
bottom
me on the interwebs at Roland Man, or I think I'm Man Roland on Twitter. But you can find me on Twitter, Instagram. You know what? I'm not near as active as I am on Silverline. So best probably if you follow me on the Silverline pages. And oh man, I forgot to tell you, I had one break this week. I was taking it off. It's the first one I've ever seen. I was taking it off and it snapped. So, but anyway, you know what time it is, guys. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you next time. And remember to make mine Silverline. Oh, I gotta remember how to stop streaming. It's me, isn't it?
We can't leave until you.